Hello, everybody. I am Lady Calamia, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, thank you for being here. If you're a subscriber, I thank you for being one. And before I start, those who are being impacted by Hurricane Ida, my heart goes out to you, especially since this is the 16th anniversary when Hurricane Katrina hit. And I was a victim of Hurricane Katrina. I lived in New Orleans, pre-Katrina and post-Katrina. So my heart truly goes out to you. And I hope you stay safe and sound in these trying and troubled times. So anyways, today we got my assistant, Lady Boss. She literally, I had to restart this video because she didn't want to share the spotlight with Shadow. She kept on hitting him. And she's not a violent cat, but she's like, hey, I want to be a star. You've had your time. So anyways, a Ouija board. Spirit board, talking board. What is it? What are the precautions? How to use it? And all that. So I will also be discussing a history of this. And for the first time ever, I actually have notes. Not that I don't know my stuff. It's just that, like, the history part, I do know the history part, but I want it to be very detailed. And I've used these notes, and this is how long it is. For the longest, I've taught this at CUPS meetings. I've taught this in my group. As you can see, the pages are very old because I've written this a long time ago. And I've been teaching for a long time. And I've been practicing magic since 1983. So anyways, let's go down. Here's some books that you may be interested in by Bal Kadmun. The Ouija Board Magic, Archangels, which you can find on Amazon.com. Also, this is not just about Ouija boards, but she has a good chapter on it. And she's very smart about the Ouija board. She doesn't just tell you, oh, it's just a game or it's like any other divination. She even tells you about the precautions. And we have Drawing Down Belial by S. Connolly. You can also find these two good books on Amazon.com. And so those who want to work with the archangels and those who want a demonic divination, ascension, and channeling, then these books are for you. So we have the lighter aspect, we have the darker aspect. Yeah. Very good authors, very well-known authors, and authors that have a good head on their shoulders. I recommend them. So, and no, I'm not getting paid or any money for that. So I like to recommend good authors and good books. So anyways, the Ouija board. I'll discuss why I have this sigil in a minute. And I found that in one of what you can find that sigils in that book. I found it very interesting of how she uses it. And with the Ouija board, which I only have one. So, Ouija board. And I've used this for many, many, many years. And I'm going to discuss how and why I keep it a certain way. Okay. Where do I begin? Before I use my notes. For those who are ceremonial magic and say Ouija board or stupid, and you're into Aleister Crowley not only used the Ouija board, the spirit board, he also advocated the use. Oh, that argument's gone, huh? So yes, Aleister Crowley used a spirit board. And you're going to notice I'm going to say Ouija board, spirit board, talking board interchangeably. Now, Ouija board, let's break it down. We have two words. Oui in French and ja in German. Both means oui, yes, O-U-I is oui, ja. which means yes. So we got the yes board. And it's advertised as a game, and it's not a game. Okay? Spinning the bottle is a game. Playing Never Have I Ever is a game. Chess is a game. Checkers is a game. Okay? This is not to be used as a game. And I know people have used this as a game. So, oh, well, nothing ever happened to me. Maybe something has been happening. And you just don't know it yet. Maybe you've been hearing knockings. Maybe you've been hearing bangings. Maybe you felt like you're being watched. But who knows? Hopefully nothing happened to you if you're playing with this. I don't wish anything to happen to you. Okay? And especially if you're just playing a game, sometimes something may come. And also sometimes all it has to take is a medium who doesn't know they're a medium. Or a psychic who doesn't know they have the power. But you're playing a game. And it doesn't become fun anymore. And I've heard many horror stories. I have a friend that helps people clear their homes and does exorcisms, and who helps people, especially after a Ouija board game gone wrong, or a reading gone south, or incorrectly kept Ouija board has gone to shit. Okay, I've helped people who had problems, and one of the things I say, you've been playing with the Ouija board? And they said yes. And unfortunately, it wasn't fun, especially the fact that in one case, they had a young child, and this thing was attacking their kid. Okay? And they were using it in a spiritual manner, but they didn't put up the precautions, and something came through, and it wasn't fun anymore, okay? In fact, I'm going to teach you that an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. And I will teach you this. If you throw caution to the wind, sometimes the wind will throw you. Again, if you throw caution to the wind, sometimes the wind will end up throwing you. Remember that. So I keep it a certain way. And I've used it for many, many, many years. I've had one bad experience. I knew exactly what to do. And luckily it did not attach to this Ouija board, else it would be gone. And I said, the next time I use it and something comes through that's not good, or if I feel something's wrong with this, I know how to take care of it. Burning it immediately and leaving it as that, especially if something's come through, you just opened the portal. If there was a portal, you just kept it open. Congratulations. Pat yourself on the back. So, this is how I keep it. I keep it in a box. Got it taped. Ah, come on. Great. So, I keep the planchette like this, and why? I don't want the planchette to move. I don't want the planchette touching the board. I keep the board upside down because I don't want any connection. As you'll see, there is salt here. I have white salt and I have black salt. Okay? I have actually charcoal activated salt. I do not advocate you leaving the board out when not in use. I do not advocate you leaving this like this. I do not advocate this. The board, when it's stored, should be upside down. And laugh at me all you want and say, well, it's as safe as crossing the street. Yeah, crossing the street is safe if you look both ways. You know? Yeah, I've never gotten hit by a car. At least not, my car, I was in a car that got hit, but I personally never got hit by a car. Nearly got hit by a car, but I never got hit by a car. And I'm going to be 50. You know, soon. So, yeah. As far as divinations, this is, I would say, not for beginners who's doing divinations. This is not a game, nor is it for beginners of magic. And let me tell you something. If you're practicing magic, can I give you some advice? Learn how to banish before you summon. I want you to start learning how to create sacred space. I want you to learn how to start creating circles. I want you to learn how to start protecting yourself and banishing. Learn that. Because let me tell you something. It's easier to call the police, but it's harder to get them to leave. It's easy to call up 911, but once the police come. So, learn how to banish before calling forth. Now, big mistakes that people make is just saying, is anyone here? Is anybody here? And another big mistake is that they make is that they don't take it seriously. They're drunk or high. They haven't created sacred space. They haven't even, I suggest a circle. I don't care what you make that circle of. You should have an energetic circle. You can have a circle of crystals. You can have a circle of rocks. You can have a circle of salt. Circle salt with Solomon's seal. I don't care. However, and another mistake that they always do, that some people do, not always do, is not saying goodbye, especially putting the planchette on goodbye, literally, and saying goodbye. And if you have to have the license to depart, you can look that up on the internet, license to depart. Also, I have this, asafoetida, and I did a presentation on asafoetida. This is one of the best things to have on hand with incense charcoal. Not barbecue charcoal, but incense charcoal. And I always at the end of my session, after taking down the circle, is using this. Now, you can do the LBRP with the BRH, which is the lesser banishing ritual, the pentagram, and the banishing of the hexagram ritual. You can do the watchtower ceremony. You can do a star ruby. Okay, whatever. Cast a circle, call in the elements, call on the god, call on the goddess. I would recommend also wearing a protective jewelry. Whatever it could be a crucifix. You could be wearing a rosary. You could wear a pentagram. You could be wearing a sigil, a seal of a deity, an image of the deity. Have a statue with you. Have some crystals. Why not? May I suggest selenite and celestite? Or selenite and angelite? Angelite. Sorry, not angelite. Angelite. Oh. Look who came through the Ouija board. Hi, little boo. Now, another thing is, if the planchette keeps going to Z-O, 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 Zozo, and it will keep going back, I want you to immediately abort. Okay? Unless you're really calling him, and I don't suggest calling this entity. Anytime I've heard that Zozo came through, it was never good. Never good. With people, and even hearing it on different people's stories and talking to people. Nothing good happened to them. Nothing good happened to their home. Nothing good happened to their friendships. Nothing good happened to their marriage. Okay? It all turned sour. Now, if a session goes sour, and something attaches itself to the Ouija board, even after you took down the circle, you're going to know especially when you work with that Ouija board again, or something. You may start getting knocks of 3. You may start hearing scratching. You may start, like, you get palo erection, which is your get the goosebumps, or you feel something's watching you. You have an attachment to the Ouija board, and you must take care of it. Okay? How do I take care of it? What do I do? There's several things I recommend doing. First of all, always this. This removes any negative and positive energy immediately. Another thing is, I would not recommend burning the board right away unless you do something with the board. And that's deactivate. You want, hello baby, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. You need to deactivate it. There's several different ways. You can use holy water that you've made, holy water from the church. You can use blessed ocean water, salt water will do. Any salt water. It could be even special salt water. Black salt is good. Mixing it and scrubbing the board. Literally scrub it. Then as she says that you can, after burning it and putting in 4 piles, the ashes in 4 piles, and I'm gonna make sure I'm saying it right, so that I don't get like, hey, why did you say that to me about me? Oh, she gives spirit board exercise. I haven't read this in a while, so, but it's really good. And yeah, she even tells you to clean the helm. Not just the board, which is true. You should clean yourself always, whether a good session or not. But if you have a bad sour session, clean yourself, clean everyone else with clean your home, clean the board. She even says washing it off. You could wash it off with paint thinner, or washing off with vinegar, even a tincture of benzoin. So she also says about burning the board then and putting it in, I believe she said that in here. I'm a big dummy, you know that? I should have looked at this first. Burning it in ashes and putting in 4 piles and throwing it into running water, which is good. So even tar water, oh my God. Look up creoline. You know what? I'm going to get it right now. I'm going to be right back. I don't trust you, little boo. I'm going to be right back. Because I want to show you something. Okay, I should have had it. I don't want to keep it out because it's toxic. Okay, so you can order this on Amazon or get it at a Botanica. Put just a little bit with some water, a little bit of holy water that you could have made or from the church. Put a little bit of salt and clean that board up. I gotta put this back because this is really toxic to animals, especially in this state. Okay, so that being said, be right back. I turn up some water. My cat likes to drink out of the faucet. He's a really picky cat. So you can make tar water. You can buy tar water already made, which is really good for spirits. Now, when using the Ouija board, and I'm scaring you, I know I'm probably scaring you, and you should be cautious. When using the Ouija board, it should be no more than 3 fingers, and you should touch it with the lightest touch. Okay, now that she's off, touch it with the lightest. Don't push your fingers with pressure. That's the mistake, and people are doing this. It will never move. You want the lightest touch, like you're touching a little brand new kitten, or a brand new puppy, or a brand new baby. You don't just touch it. Now, when everyone, if you have several people, maybe 1 or 2 fingers the most on it, and you can have someone recording the sessions. Also, what you want to do is activate the board. I don't want to activate the board, so you could make an 8, figure 8, or the eternity, either one, and you go to hello. Now, make sure you know who you're talking to. Unless you're trying to communicate with a house spirit, you're trying to help someone, if you're good at, and I'll even tell you, some seasoned people have been affected by the Ouija board, especially when they're trying to get spirits to answer them, especially if it's a negative spirit. Again, precaution, precaution, precaution. And remember, always end it with goodbye. Now, when you start going like this, like I said, when you go to, well, you can write hello, HEHELLO. We'll move the pancha to it, or, you know, just say hello, Aunt Mabel, Uncle John, whatever that may be. Now, all because you called Uncle John and Aunt Mabel doesn't mean they're there. So I always suggest saying, you know, doing maybe a mantra, Om Aim Hrim Klim Chamandaye Viche Swaha, in the name of Kali, I call such and such to be here. Also remember to test the spirit. If Uncle John liked to wear a blue shirt, say, Uncle John, was your favorite color shirt black? And if it goes yes, it ain't Uncle John. And remember, don't think of what you're saying at this point. Try to think of a brick wall, if at all possible. Or even think of Uncle John wearing a black shirt. And if it goes no, and say, well, if it starts spelling out blue, even if it's spelled wrong, BLU, you know it's Uncle John. And not, you know, the serial killer who was executed last year. Now, I'm telling you, working with a Ouija board and not using precautions is like living in the worst neighborhood possible. And I'm not using my script right now, and hopefully I can get to it with the script. But working with the Ouija board and not using precautions and being a dumbass is like living in the worst neighborhood that you could think of, with the door wide open, and it's not going to be someone nice coming in. You damn well know it's not. And also saying, hello, is anyone there? Usually the person who's going to become calling at this point, especially if you're being a dumbass and you're not taking any precautions, it could be a serial killer. Hi, I'm here. Or it could be something that's never been born on this plane of existence. And me, the only thing it likes to do is torment. You've got a problem. And like I said, remember, learn how to banish, learn how to back up that mouth too. Okay, so I want to tell you why I have this. This is for the demonic, and I'm not going to get into this, whether good or bad and white and black and whatever. That you start right here. You see, it's almost like, some people call it the ZD, some people call it the ZP. I call it the ZP because it looks, see how it says 1 and you draw here and it's 2. It ends here. And if you want, you could put a circle and you could put it on the Ouija board. Now, you dedicate it to the demonic divine. Even if it's dedicated, and I don't care if the Dalai Lama has come and personally blessed your Ouija board, shit can still get through. And I don't care if it's made of silver and the planchett's made of gold and there's rubies and diamonds and sapphire and topaz and it's in diamond engraved. Shit can still get through. It could be as rudimentary or childish as you like, or as pagan as you want. Shit can still get through. Okay, and I'm talking about literally shit. Leaving your Ouija board like this is bad. Also, as I'm going to say this, being disrespectful is bad. Holy Spirit, am I going to get laid tonight? Oh, is Johnny going to kiss me? Is Sally going to get so drunk she's going to puke? Asking questions like that is very disrespectful. Being disrespectful for the spirits is a no-no. Okay, but if a spirit starts disrespecting you, you need to end it. You need to end it right away. You could just put no and then goodbye, say goodbye. And start doing your banishings. And start burning that incense. Start cleansing yourself. Okay. So, a little bit on this. I don't know if you're interested in the week. Oh, no, I'll get into that later. My experience with it. I always usually get truthful things, or like I said, when, someone's daughter's coming over and they said on Monday, but it wasn't that Monday. It was like several Mondays later. So I should have asked, would it be this Monday? Now, when I was with someone, a friend of mine, a very good friend, and I just kind of moved to Florida, and I was, he lived in the other section part of the home, and I was talking to someone. I thought all of a sudden, I was talking to my late fiance who passed away, okay, that year. And I thought I was talking to Sydney, and then I just felt something wasn't right. I felt it in my bones. I said, then all of a sudden, it spelled out, why I said something, and I said, why are you saying this? And it says, and it start just going like this, and it said basically, and it says jealous. It's like, why are you jealous? Are you jealous that I moved on? And it says, I hate you. Then it said, it said something about kill you. I'm like, whoa, right there, whoa, this is not Sid. This is, no. And we quickly took our hands off. Then we went to goodbye. I went to goodbye. I said goodbye. I gave the license to depart. I called upon my goddess right away. We burned asafoetida all over after I did the LBRP and BRH, we start burning incense anyways. Before that, I burned this. I gave it to my friend, and I said, go into your room and burn this. I said, if you feel anything, let me know. We'll get rid of this together. And if at this point, I literally cleansed my home. And I said, this is not Sid. And I said, I opened the door and I said, get your ass the hell out of here. I rebuke you. You are not welcome. You were never welcome. Get out. Never had a problem with it. Never had a problem again. But if I would have had a problem, if I would have sent something, this thing would have been taken care of. And I'm telling you, anytime you do a divination, whether it be tarot cards, oracle cards, scrying, you should do something like a prayer. If you can't do sacred space, do a prayer. If you're like outside, do a prayer, do meditation. Really call upon a deity, God, goddess. I don't care if you're into Jesus, if you're into Lucifer, if you're into Aradia, Sekhmet, Kali. call upon the deity. Because let me tell you why. In any reading, if you don't have a particular spirit with you, or whether your ancestors, your spirit guide, ascended master, what you're going to get is a cold reading. And that means no real answer. Also, you can be getting wrong answers. Or you can have a spirit pretending to be your friend, and it's not. So even with sometimes divinations, you can leave yourself open. So you want to have protections, right? You want to call upon a deity. Or it doesn't have to be a long, drawn-out thing. But with the Ouija board, you need extra protection. Ouija boards, yes, they can open up a portal. This is actually becomes like a portal. That's fine. You can close a portal. You can protect yourself. I will never do a Ouija board session with someone who is drunk, with someone who is fucking high out of their mind, with someone who is burning with anger at that point, or really, really depressed, or even to the point of suicidal. I don't want to do a session with them at that point. I will wait till they're calmed down. I don't, certain people who have negative spirits attached to them, I don't want to do a session with them either. I just don't. That's just me. I will not do a Ouija board in a graveyard, cemetery. If you do, that's fine. Just realize that there's a lot of spirits in the cemetery, and some of them are not your friends. Some of them could follow you home. Some of them see you as an all-you-can-eat buffet. There are some spirits that are like that, even with seasoned practitioners. So if you do it in the cemetery, I wish you all the luck. Just make sure you know who you're talking to. Make sure that you are protected. And I would also suggest right before you're entering your home to sage yourself or something. You know, even with sage and dragon's blood, which I did also a presentation on dragon's blood resin. Okay. I won't be doing a Ouija board session where there was a violent activity like a murder-suicide or a terrorist attack. I don't want to do a session in a place where I know it's really haunted and has some bad mojo going on. Unless if I was really trying to help the person. But at that point, I don't think I want to do that anyways. That's just me. But what do I know? I've been practicing magic since 1983. So, the thing is, also, if you're about to do a session, and all of a sudden out of the blue, your dog is going nuts, your cat's going nuts. My shadow gets to be an asshole anyways, but if it's just something that's just warning me, I'm not going to do it. If I have to keep stopping and starting because I keep having interruptions, I'm going to abort. I have aborted divinations, and I've had aborted rituals. It had to be aborted. I waited to the next day. You know, something's not right, something's not meant to be, I'm not going to do it. As far as buying a used Ouija board, I got asked this. I see Ouija board like this. Do I want to buy a used dildo from a thrift shop? No. I mean, I bought a used tarot card from a thrift shop that didn't have bad energy. I bought a used tarot deck from a friend, didn't have bad energy. But a Ouija board, I don't know if something attached itself to it. Maybe it did. Maybe that Ouija board that you're finding out in someone's garbage trash can has something attached to it. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. I don't care if it looks witchy, if it looks handmade. Leave it the fuck alone. Treat it as a dildo. Would you take a dildo out of the trash can and use it? Even after cleaning it off? Ew. So, see a used Ouija board like a used dildo. Leave it alone. I get asked which deity to call. I would definitely call a deity, especially if something goes wrong, whether even an archangel. Okay, the first archangel I think about, if you didn't think archangels, is Michael. But it's pronounced Michael. The ch, Michael. I would use the goddess Sekhmet. I would use the goddess Santa Muerte. Or some people see her as an angel. Some people see her as a saint. I'm not going to get into this. Some people, San La Muerte, which is different from Santa Muerte. I would use Kali. I would use Dumavati. I will use also that's a oomph. But don't fuck with me. Now, mediums. I work psychically. I do work as a psychic medium. So if I was playing stupid with the Ouija board, I know something would happen. So I know sometimes people could have used Ouija boards for years and something stupid can happen. So like almost what happened to me, something stupid happened with me and my friend and I ended it. So be on your guard. And you can use a pendulum with the Ouija board. I never did. I know I heard some people using a pendulum. This is called a planchette, by the way. And like it would use like here, and you'll see it would spell this out. I know there's different planchettes. I know. So anyways, let's get into some of the history. And maybe I can remember some other things I wanted to discuss with you. Because I know some people are into the history. At this point, maybe you want to turn it off. I don't know. So anyways, the type of divination done by the Ouija board is called a dactylomancy. Which is the use of your fingers. This includes automatic writing too. So at this point, I would explain how Re, the Titan goddess Re, created the dactyls, which I'll save for a presentation on Goddess Re. So, I also wrote down Crowley advocated the use of the Ouija board. Crowley and his student Frater Achad. See, I wouldn't have remembered this. Crowley and his student. No, I remember it, but I wouldn't have remembered probably to tell you this. So Crowley and his student, Frater Achad, okay, had plans for the Thelemic Ouija board. Never came out. They were actually making plans to make a Thelemic Ouija board. If you want, you can make your own Thelemic Ouija board. Okay? Frater Achad, Charles Stansford Jones, that was his name. So Ouija board as we know it began in the 1890, of course, spiritual movement, right? So I'm going a little bit off script here, as you can tell. So, and I always do, I always seem to do that. Although before this, they were called talking and spirit boards. And even before this, they were used by shamans. So, and they had different drawings and symbols which was used, and there I had the word explained, so in my own words, different symbols. So you could put a cross here, you could put a pentagram here, you could put a unicursogram here, You can put a fairy star there, whatever. You could, if I wanted to, I could start putting little symbols in the back. I could put it in the back. I could put glue some crystals. I wouldn't glue anything because it could disrupt this unless it can go right over it. So, similar methods were used by the Chinese long before the birth of Confucius to communicate with ancestors. Now, similar methods are still used in the Enshu temples in Taiwan, where mediums there, known as Qi-Changs, sit before a large tray of white sand and hold a V-shaped writing tools. After the prayers are said, you notice how I said prayers are said, their hands begin to shake, and the implement begins writing out messages in the sand. I hate my handwriting. I write like a doctor. And we all know that physicians, when they go to school, they learn how to write like shit. I was a vet tech, so we vet techs write like shit. In Greek. and pharmacists have to learn how to decipher the shitty handwriting. So anyways, in Greece, 540 BCE, the philosophers Pythagoras used a special talking table on wheels. He placed his hands on his student Philolus would put their hands on the table, and it would move towards different symbols. So this is the first time I'm ever using my handwriting, my notes. So the hands would on the table, and it would move towards different symbols and signs. They would interpret the meanings to their audience as being revelations from the unseen world. I suck at using notes. You see what I mean? I'm trying to read my own fucking handwriting. The planchette is named after a man who was a French spiritualist who is named M. Planchette, where we get this from. He is said to be the creator of the device used with the Ouija board. His planchette was heart-shaped and made out of wood. It had two small legs with wheels. The third leg was a pencil in which a person went into trance and placed their fingers upon it, and messages were written. Some people claim it was an earlier American spiritualist named Thomas Welton who created it, but these claims are now mostly dismissed, and Mr. M. Planchette is now giving the credit for this wonderful device. So, planchette is a French word meaning little plank. There are a lot of mystery behind the history of the Ouija board, as in the 19th century, anyone could spin a table and call it truth. In the time of the 19th century, the planchette morphed. The pencil was removed and it was used on a rectangle board with letters. The earliest possible facts in which historians can agree about the origins of the Ouija was created by E.C. Reich, R-E-I-C-H-E. He teamed up with his two friends, Charles Kennard and Elijah J. Bond, yet no written records survive which allow all these facts to be verified. E.C. Reich is eventually forgotten, lost in time. Mr. Charles Kennard. This cannot be confirmed as fact, but according to Charles Kennard, a spirit told Kennard to name the talking board Ouija, which he said meant good luck in Egyptian language. Okay. However, there is no such word as Ouija in the Egyptian language. Nice try! In 1892, a hostile takeover of the Ouija board and Kennard's company by the Fuld brothers, F-U-L-D brothers, Charles Kennard, in need of money, relented and sold his company to William Fuld and Isaac Fuld. The patent to the board was registered in July 1892. Wah, wah. Unfortunately for Isaac, it was registered in only William's name, William Fuld, and claimed the name of the Ouija board came from two different languages, meaning the same thing. French, oui, which I discussed before. French, oui, meaning yes. And a German word, ja, meaning yes. As its previous owners of the company, it came on to hard times, as he fires Isaac due to fraud. Let me see, 1, 2. And William Fuld changed the name to the Baltimore Talking Board Company. Isaac went on to create his own talking board company. I'm going to create my own company, and called it Oriole. O-R-I-O-L-E. The two brothers went to court over the talking board, and due to both companies slapping the name Southern Toy Company on each talking board, after William Fuld's death from an accident due to falling off from a roof. Was it an accident? I don't know. It could, well, and records following he had an accident falling off a roof. The company was taken over by his son William and Hubert. Eventually, they had problems with supply and demand. Others believed the brothers wanted to sell their company and they needed the money for whatever. And in 1966, the Parker brothers. And now, because of this, they get the evil name. Parker brothers are evil. And they created a way to talk to demons, right? So in 1966, the Parker brothers bought the company and sold and still sells the Ouija board as a mystifying oracle. Ooh. There are cases where people wrote extraordinary novels and writings due to working with the spirit board. Jane Roberts, you ever heard of her? Jane Roberts authored her best-selling books, such as The Coming of Seth and the Seth, S-E-T-H, Seth Materials. She obtained this while working and communicating with a being called Seth through the Ouija board. Could this be the god Seth? Another example is Pearl Curran, C-U-R-R-A-N, a housewife with very little education, wrote short stories to full-length novels communicating with a spirit named Patience Worth. Now that's impressive, if she actually really did it and it wasn't someone writing it for her and she took credit. So anyways, Pearl became famous. She eventually denied using the Ouija board in order to the remains amongst her new literary friends. I know of no such thing. I don't play with that. That is superstitious. Even though I never learned to read nor write, but I just happened to learn how to do it. Pulled it out of thin air, I'll tell you. Pulled it out of my ass. Okay, those people who were close to her knew the truth. Pearl Curran did not have enough education. She did not know how, she didn't have the schooling, the education to produce these literary works. Her words were written in a dialect of English that was in medieval times. So, which was it, Pearl? So, her writings did not contain one word of English that was after the 17th century. So, one of Pearl's friends decided to try her hand at the Ouija board. She claimed to have contacted the spirit of Mark Twain, who dictated a story to her. It was published in 1917 as Did I write? Jap Haran, a novel written from the Ouija board. So I wrote here talking points where to use the Ouija board. Don't use the Ouija board in graveyards. Don't use it where violent things has happened. Not advisable to use places of poltergeists unless you know what you're already doing. Other people, okay, what are the other people around you? What is their energy? Is the place a negative energy? You know, so discuss how to use it properly. Discuss horror stories. So anyways, as you know, this is the first time I'm using notes. As you can hear the notes removing the paper. So, okay, so my notes are here. Another point of thing I'm going to tell you about. My sister had a party. Now, my sister moved out when I was very, very young. But my sister had a party. And they were playing with the Ouija board. My mom with my brother who... Okay, so I'm the youngest. I have a brother that's 6 years older than me. My other brother is about 15 years older. And my other sister, the one I'm talking about, is 16 years older than me. So my mother decided to dress as put a sheet over her. And she was standing there, and one of my sister's friends' eyes went open, and they were scared, and they were frightened, till my little brother started laughing. Anyways, what it did, now I believe my place was a little bit haunted anyways, but I know for years we had problems with that place. And also, my sister, I don't talk to her anymore. I'm not gonna get into it. We haven't talked in a while, and she told my mom, she swore that at one point after playing with the Ouija board, things started getting worse and worse and worse, that the bed was shaking. And she was with me when I was a baby. I don't remember this when I was young. I remember things, you know, from when I was young, but somehow I must have blocked this out. And she sort of prayed to Jesus, say, leave us alone. Whether that's true or not, or whether my sister was high as a fucking kite. Because sometimes she did use acid, so who knows. She could have been high with me. Really cool, right? When I was a baby. Yeah, be high with a little baby. Fucktard. Using acid along with a child is fucked up. If she was using acid. However, I learned how to banish and protect. And I got rid of a lot of shit in that place. Interesting enough, a lot of the shit was in my side of the bedroom. And we had a closet that was... Okay, my bedroom had a closet, and the closet would have a wall, and it would be next to the closet of my parents. And that bedroom also had some shit. But I've learned how to stand up to it, not be afraid, and get rid of it. That's another thing. You need to not... Okay. Do not be afraid. Even if you show fear, show bravery. These things will feed off your fear. Unrighteous anger, it will feed off that too. Depression, if it makes you depressed, it's going to feed off that. Laugh. Smile at it. You dumb shit. You done fucked up now. So then you're going to have to use some weight, get some muscle, and that's with the deity. And say, in the name of Kali, I, with the power of Kali, cast you out. You are not welcomed here. This is not your home. This is my home. And it is blessed to the power of Kali. And in the name of Kali, I push you out. Be gone by the powers of Kali. Be gone by the powers of Shiva. Be gone, I cast you out in the name of Krishna. You could just rattle off all these divine names. Back it up with some incense, back it up with some holy water, back it up with salt water, back it up with something. if you've had a haunting and cleansings will have done and blessings have been done, yeah, things can go quiet, but things can come back. That's why you continue with it. I don't care if you had your Catholic priest do a blessing or an exorcism. I don't care if you had your preacher come in. I don't care if you had a witch queen of the Gardnerian tradition come and bless your place. Sometimes these things can come back. Sometimes it could just be silenced and made very small, but eventually will come back. Sometimes. So that's why you always keep up the blessings and the banishings. I occasionally have to banish my whole place. I have to do a banishing, and then when I banish, I fill the void with goodness. I bring in spirits of money, spirits of happiness, spirits of love, spirits of joy. I bring in God. That's how I can bring in God. Say, I get rid of the negativity and invite Lakshmi and Ganesha to come and stay. So remember, what you banish, you have a void, it's going to fill up. Okay? So after you do your banishings, you want to do a blessing. Like bring in happiness and love. You can burn some sweet incense. Certain crystals are really good at protecting and keeping out negativity. And like I said, I will not touch the Ouija board if I'm drunk, which I haven't drank in years. I'm not an alcoholic or anything. I just decided I don't want to drink. And I'm careful who I use the Ouija board with. And I don't use it every day. I haven't used it in a while, actually. I actually had to dig this out from under my... I have it in my ritual room and underneath my couch. And as you see how I will put it away and how I keep it secure. And I know people are going to probably laugh at me, whatever, blah, 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 you're paranoid. You know what? Blah, blah, blah. I know these things, okay? I know some people are very not as protective. They feel, oh, you're just being paranoid. No, I'm just being safe. Oh, well, the Ouija board is just as safe as driving. Yeah, it's safe as driving. If you know how to drive and you're a good driver, it's safe. Yeah, if you're a sober driver, it's safe. So, and even if you're a safe driver, you can still get into accidents. And other things about this. What else do I want to discuss? Because I discussed the history. If you're trying to find out, sometimes using the Ouija board can make a haunting worse. That's another thing I noticed when people say, oh, I moved into a home and had some spirits and I used the Ouija board and it got worse. Did you do any precautions? No, I just got out the board and I just, concentrated, put a white light around me and just did it. I'm like, really? Really? And this said person was haunted for years. Because again, they didn't take precautions and they didn't know who they were really talking about. Personally, also another thing is, if I feel weird when I'm ready to do a Ouija board session, I feel, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. I'm not going to do it. I don't care if I have everyone gathered. It's over. Right there. If someone else in my group feels something's wrong, we would abort. Now, anytime I taught about this, when I done presentations, some people got mad at me because, okay, we were at this big cups meeting and people brought their Ouija board and they thought actually I was going to have a Ouija board session. Nope. Why? Why? We're all here with our board. You said you were going to do the Ouija board. No, I said I was going to teach about it. Two different things. And they were mad because everyone wanted to play with the Ouija board. Can you picture this? Really? You're having people there that some of them were kind of tipsy. Some of them looked a little high. And we're going to do a Ouija board session? And they walked out after the presentation. They were angry. I'm angry. And they stomped out. I don't give a shit. Bye. I don't care. Don't come back. And someone told me, well, they were really mad at you. I was like, I don't give a shit. First of all, I don't need something to happen to somebody. Second of all, a lot of them I'm seeing, they didn't even know how to fucking hold. These people knew about witchcraft for a very long time and didn't even know how to hold. Or they were pushing on a planche and I was like, nope, that's not how you hold it. And I've noticed some of these people, some of them, and I'm not trying to put down, I'm not going to tell you which cups group this was because it's not about putting down. Okay? Didn't know what they were doing, thinking that, just weren't prepared. I'm sorry. I'm just not going to have a bunch of people with their own Ouija boards doing this, and God knows what they're talking to. How do I know what they're going to ask? I don't know what I mean, I didn't want to cause anyone to become haunted or have something follow them or, there's one nightmare ritual. Someone did this ritual and they were wet behind the ears. And basically they wrote a check that their face couldn't cash. Sorry, they wrote a check that their face could not cash. And for months, this place, they had eerie feelings. People felt even months later, felt uneasy. And I thought, let me do some LBRPs around here. I start doing, cleansings there. And there are people who told me they literally, before that, they start seeing things. They were seeing things there. And it wasn't just one person. It wasn't about schizophrenia or anything. There were people who felt ill there. There were people who started seeing things there that were there. And it wasn't good. And this was held in a church that has Sunday as a Unitarian Universalist church. So you think, oh, well, it'll be good energies, we'll get rid of it. No. That's why I'm trying to also express to you, if you throw caution to the wind can end up throwing you. An ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. I'm telling you that right now. So before you learn how to do the Ouija board, learn how to banish, learn how to protect, learn how to do, learn how to work with a deity or god or goddess, or learn how to work with your spirit guides, your either Orishas or Loas, or your personal demons, your personal archangels, your holy guardian angel, your spirit animal, your spirit guide. Learn how to do that. Learn how to call your ancestors and honor your ancestors. Also learn how to do, something else, some other divination. Now, I know this was going to be a little bit of a long one. And I was discussing this with my good friend. And I'm telling you, me and her had a lot of discussions. She doesn't like the Ouija board. She says a lot of lies come through. Because she said she had to clean up messes. Literal messes, not just once, from people. She has known people that have used this in jest or even used this trying to contact something, and it blew up in their fucking face. They got egg in their face. I've known people that got egg in their face with this. Okay? I was talking to someone about the spirit Zozo, and they said they know exactly what that spirit is. Because they were tormented by it. Not cool. So anyways, when you're using the Ouija board, don't use it in jest. Don't use it as a game. Like I said, you want to play a game? Play spin the bottle. That's a safe game. But don't do it in the sense of divination. You know. Because you might end up waking up a hornet's nest. But anyways, I know some people are going to say, you're an old fuddy-duddy. Maybe I am. And this is how I work the spirit board. And like I said, I have friends that I will work it with, and there's friends I won't work it with. And the conditions got to be right, or I'll call it off. Better be safe than sorry. So, if you have any problems with this Ouija board, like I said, these are the things that I told you to do. You also, if you are nervous about getting a spirit attached to you while doing this, I can understand that. Take cascarilla. Now, cascarilla is powdered eggshell. And you can get it as chalk and put it on the back of your neck. You can also, wear, like some tarots, when they'll literally put a white cloth over, or some tarots over their head. This is a belief that will protect you. Because the back of the neck is usually where a spirit can end up attaching themselves. Where they end up horsing you. Where they ride you. Possession. Possession's not always bad. Possession's not always good. I've been to Elays. I've been to where people get possessed by an Orisha, or people will get possessed by a long dead Santero or Santera of that Orisha. But the Orisha will come in, and it's not bad. They're not spitting pea soup. They're not turning your head 360. They're not, So when you hear possession, it's not always bad. But it's not always good. Sometimes it's wanted. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it just happens. I just wanted to throw that out. But I gave you my personal experiences working with it. I worked it with several things. Several people. God, it's late. Anyways, I want to thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, give me a thumbs down. And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe so you'll never miss a video. Share this video with your groups and with your friends and with your family. And as always, be safe. Blessed be. Namaste. Thank you for watching. And thank you for putting up with my rant about this. So, have a good day or good night. And if you're in this path of Ida, please stay safe. Blessed be.